while her dad is stuck in a prison cell, hundreds of miles away, getting older and older. He made mistakes, yes, but is the price he's paying for those mistakes fair? Maybe, but maybe not. And then I started following the court cases that I saw on TV. OJ, Sarah Pearson, and I realized that really cool people. Sometimes it was his fault, and sometimes it wasn't. Basically, Scott Peterson was
Oh, you fucking.
free. Free to go golfing and party with friends, and free to write a book about the details of the crime. I'm sorry, the details of the crime, if he had done it. Granted, we all know that OJ was George, but he still. So thus began my fascination with all the rights, wrongs, everything that goes with it. And when I started this podcast, I was absolutely thrilled to see all of you guys and know that you feel pretty much the same. So today, being that we're going to be approaching the next year, I want to talk about this.
Yes,
I
right.
think we can all agree that it was the greatest year. As far as losing Prince, David Bowie, and just recently, Nicole Beck. With everything going on with Lobo, with the craziness of the 2016 US election, and I think we can all agree, no matter what your politics are, the campaign season itself definitely had its lows. And with the attacks in Brussels, and Orlando, and the list goes on. The highest levels of so here are the ones
West of your current location, there appears to be a hostile tank.
There.
The first case of Bolt is a sad case out of Canada that involves a senseless and incomprehensible murder. Earlier this year, a trial took place in Ontario that had me pretty much glued to my computer for updates. It unfortunately wasn't aired on TV, nor was it live streamed online anywhere. But it was a case that I was really passionate about, so I had to follow it up, rushing the blog full publication. Now, to make a trial,
Light armored vehicle is heading north of you. In May 2013, 32-year-old said goodbye to his wife and left his home with two men who had flown into his country, the enlisted for sale. Only the men snitch. Folks who said the truck, and once they were away from the largest snitch shot in the they then and hid his truck. A massive search party ensued, but it wasn't until a week later that the largest snitch were arrested. And after 2 more days were revealed what was left of him, both men were charged with his murder. The trial started in February, and a ton of heartbreaking details came to light. One of them being that the largest snitch planned for more than a year to steal the truck, kill its owner, and incinerate the body. They had no idea what the possible was. They just knew the big was. Thankfully, after 5 days of deliberating, the jury found the murderers to be guilty of the first crime. Just west of
Oh, these motherfuckers there.
Today, the only way to stand for our family. For over 3 years, we have waited for justice for Tim. For 3 years, we have been in this courthouse to look at and read things in the same space. We splitter, death, of depravity in our society.
Objective Charlie has just been
We have
neutralized.
had to endure being near the two men that walked down my driveway May 6, 2013 and took away the bright lights in our lives that were kept. It
Hostile
is
chopper
their
spotted. You lose your position.
unspeakable evil acts that have taken away their freedom while saying it is unfair. It is unfair is that now that this chapter is over, we have to truly begin building our lives.
The ticket Boston case is now closed. Millard and Snitch with another trial suit.
Ah, you bitch. How the fuck you see me?
Now, a woman from Toronto who had been romantically involved with Millard. Laura has been missing since December of 2012, and although her body is still found, Millard and Snitch are going on trial for murder. And if that wasn't enough, Millard has also been charged with murder in the death of his father, Wayne Lee. In November 2012,
Just west of your
and although it was initially deemed as suicide, investigators say they have evidence that it was murder. A firm trial date for that hasn't been set yet, but it's definitely going to be interesting to watch, especially because
Objective Alpha is neutralized.
that he may want to represent himself.
You fuck.
The second case came about after I saw a documentary on it, and then it just so happened that there were major developments that I heard of the case afterwards. Back in September, I went to the screening of a documentary called Southeast of Salem at the Northwestern Center for Convictions. I live pretty close to there, so whenever they have an event like this, I always try to make sure to attend if I can. Southeast of Salem is a documentary about the San Antonio Four. And let me give you a little background of the case. The San Antonio Four women who were wrongfully convicted of aggravated sexual assault in the late 90s.
I spotted the enemy helicopter.
Elizabeth
Stop
Appearance,
the location.
Christine Mayhew, Sandra Rivera, and Anna Vasquez were accused of sexually assaulting Elizabeth's two nieces. Elizabeth's nieces, who was 7 and 9 years old, claimed that the four women abused them while they had been staying over at Nancy's. The niece's dad, Elizabeth's brother-in-law, was married to her
Enemy
sister,
helicopter south of
and
the
recently
South of
had
the
before being injured. And shortly afterwards,
Damn, I can't
sexual
get in.
assault
I can't blow this motherfucker up.
all four ladies maintained their innocence. In 1997, Elizabeth went on trial, and a year later, the other three women were tried together. All four were guilty. Years went by while the ladies served time in prison, and then the Innocence Project tests out. They discovered that the child
Have eyes on hostile helicopter. East of your
and in
position.
fact, partners of the DA's office that her testimony at trial was now outdated, and that she would not testify the same way today. At their trials, that would allow them to testify that the victims had markings on their fingers that were signs of sexual abuse, something that was later determined to be just variations of illicit activity. Then, Elizabeth's nieces were guilty too, saying that her father encouraged her to say,
Bravo, hostile
he
north.
said he had she would be beaten. So with the new regulations, the district attorney agreed that the women should be released. So back in September, we went to the screening, and then we took part in a panel with 4 women who talked about their experiences in prison, what it was like to be accused of something so horrendous, and their struggles to adjusting to life after.
God damn.
They still had a huge burden.
Oh,
They still hadn't been declared innocent, which, if you follow these wrongful conviction cases, that's often the most important thing to experience, the acknowledgement of their actual innocence. But then, about a month ago, in November, something major happened, and the Texas Court of Appeals finally declared innocence. My third case is one that is very near and dear to my heart. In August of this year, I started this podcast, and immediately after I put out the first episode about the Melissa Kosinski case, I attended the evidentiary hearings that she had been granted. The hearings took place over 2 days in August,
Spotted enemy
and May and
soldiers.
September.
Return to where you are.
And then, one day, reading of the judge's ruling, the answer that everything about the case
Bitch.
with Melissa getting a trial. As you know, the things that came out of the trial,
That's funny.
including a set of x-rays that had potentially been altered before being given to the defense at Melissa's trial, and an accusation of perjury, a straight-out line from the state's main experts at trial. But Melissa's request for a new trial was ultimately denied, and so Melissa's attorney
advised,
had
objective
some
charge is
there's no
neutralized.
pending appeal. Needless to say, this was a major moment in 2016. I had become really invested in Melissa's case, despite my trying to stay neutral. I had been there in the courtroom, sitting right behind her family as they listened to the evidence. I had been there with the judge for his ruling,
God damn.
and I saw the looks on the faces of her family when he denied the petition. And I saw Melissa get whisked away immediately after that ruling was read, back into custody and back into prison. And I saw her mother break down into tears, unable to get up from her seat, even after everybody else had left the room. As much as you try not to get so emotionally invested in these cases, sometimes it's just darn near impossible.
Just lost control of objective output. Just with the position is indicated.
I want to pause here for just a second to share a word of response. Like Wake. I've been getting a lot of great responses on Facebook about Wakey. Those who have been drinking it for quite a while, and those who just started hearing about them. And all of the responses are great. Some people drink them in the mornings, some people drink them as a snack, and some people even drink them as a dessert. The biggest draws being that they're both nutritious and tasty, all at the same time. Visit Lifeway Q
Objective
for more
Fox Strike
information
neutralized.
for some great coupons. That's Lifeway, KEFIR. And now, back to the episode. We all have unsolved cases that really bother us. Whether it's a case that's more high profile, like John Benet Ramsey, or something a little more obscure, maybe a crime that occurred close to home. This next one is one that isn't close to my home, but it's irked me ever since I heard about it. The disappearance of Heather Elvis. I think this case always struck me because I picture this young woman truly just beginning her adulthood. She just vanishes, makes the earth. Heather was just 20 years old when she went missing from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, in the early morning hours of December 18, 2013. Her roommate, who was out of town at the time, received a phone call from Heather, which told her that a married man she had been having an affair with had called her and told her that he wanted to leave his wife for her. The roommate said that Heather was upset because Heather had broken off the affair with the guy, and Heather had just started moving on with her life when she received that phone call. The next day, Heather's car was found at Peachtree Boulevard, not far from her birthday. Heather, though, was nowhere to be found. Sidney Moore, the married man, along with his wife, became suspects in prosecutors found threatening text messages from the wife to Heather. Phone records also showed that Sidney was likely the last person to speak with her the night when she went missing, leading many to wonder if the phone call he had made to her about leaving his wife was just a ruse to get her off.
That motherfucker gone.
The state charged Sidney with kidnapping, apparently not having enough evidence to prove
Yo, yes. Yo,
He
yes.
went on charge in June of this year. The jury couldn't reach a verdict, resulting in a mystery. Reports say that 10 jurors believe that he was guilty and 2 believe he was innocent. His retrial is scheduled sometime next year. His next case, also from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, also had a major development this year. 17-year-old Brittany Drexel went missing from Myrtle Beach in April 2009 while on a spring break trip that she hid from her mother. Brittany was last seen on surveillance video leaving a hotel resort after visiting another friend. Her cell phone pinged off towers about an hour south later that night, but Brittany seemingly vanished. Brittany's mom was understandably shocked when she learned that not only had her daughter snuck away to Myrtle Beach for spring break, that she was naturalized. I think that's every parent's worst nightmare. Years went by with speculation, theories, and accusations in the case with no real answer as to what had happened to Brittany. Until June this year. Investigators have looked at some startling indications. They had info that Brittany was no longer alive.
While we've come to discover through the portion of the investigation that was the Myrtle Beach area, we believe the friend who was carrying John Townfield, Georgetown area, we believe she was kidnapped there.
Investigators offered a $25,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible. And then, in August, some more awful news came out. Police had a suspect, and the details of what they believe happened to Brittany were gruesome. A jailhouse informant spoke to police and told them that he knew what happened to Brittany. The informant's name was Taquan Brown. After her disappearance, he said that she was at the stash house in Wellington, where Brittany's phone last pinged. He said he witnessed several men sexually abuse Brittany in the house. He then says he saw Brittany run out and try to escape, but she was caught, pistol whipped, and brought back inside. Brown said he then heard 2 gunshots and saw her body wrapped up and taken from the house. And if all of that information wasn't bad enough, several people also apparently told police that Brittany's body was dumped in an alligator pond. So, in 2016, from that tragic news to Brittany, we can only hope that 2017 will bring justice.
Bad misplay. Holy shit.
Earlier in the year, in February, an arrest was made in a case that I've been closely following. This next case is that is so shocking and nuts. I feel like everyone needs to look this up after you finish this episode. Teresa Sievers, a well-respected holistic doctor from Bonita Springs, Florida, was found beaten to death in her home in June 2015. She had been on a family vacation in Connecticut with her husband and 2 daughters, but had flown home earlier than the rest of her family so she could keep appointments she had the following day. Teresa left the airport and arrived at her home by herself on the night of June 28th. But when she walked in, her attackers were waiting for her. Suspicion fell on her husband, Mark Sievers, because let's be honest, naturally, he's the first person you think of in cases like this. And the suspicion only increased after her husband's childhood friend, along with another man, were arrested and charged in Teresa's murder. So, why would her husband's friend?
Oh, come on!
Well, in February, we found
that's
out
crazy.
what the police theory was. Mark Sievers was
That's
arrested
crazy.
and charged with Teresa's murder. his childhood friend, and given him up to police.
Hostiles
And
on
it
my
looks
side.
like
Yourself to good position.
man and his wife's entire family. There was another arrest this summer in another case that I've been keeping an eye on. 41-year-old Dan Marco, a law professor at Florida State University, was shot and killed while sitting in his car in his driveway in July 2014.
Hey,
He had just driven home from the gym and was still in his car talking on the phone when someone walked right up the driveway, right up to his window, and shot him in the head.
damn you.
He had just gone through a contentious divorce, and people
Yup,
immediately
right there.
wondered if the divorce had something to do with his death. In June of this year, 2 alleged hitmen were indicted on
Yep,
first-degree
you
murder charges after video surveillance showed the 2 men driving a rental car in the area where Dan had been killed on the day of the shooting. One of the men took a plea deal and told investigators that the murderer had in fact been a hired hit. And who hired them?
White.
Police warrants showed that suspicion was on Dan's former in-laws, his
Oh, his
ex-wife's family. Then, in October, another arrest was made, and this one was the link that everybody had been wondering about. It's the link between the 2 alleged hitmen and Dan's former in-laws. Catherine McMindua was arrested and charged in Dan's murder, and she had reportedly been dating Dan's former brother-in-law during the time when Dan was murdered, and she knew both of the hitmen too. One of them was her children's father. 2020 did a great episode of this case, and I'll look into trials for Catherine and the other man, maybe next year. This last case is a real one. Towards the end of August, I became aware of a mistake Avery South Carolina. A 30-year-old woman named Kayla Brink and her boyfriend, 22-year-old Charles Carter. The case didn't get a lot of media attention at first. There were a few news reports about them for sure, and a web sleuth script, but not much more.
Just neutralize objective Alpha.
It was a bizarre case. Upon getting the CBS report, police went to the woman's apartment to investigate. They found Kayla's car in the front, and Charlie's was found.
I spotted enemy
The
machine
two
gun
of them
west of the
seemed to
position.
have vanished into midair. And then,
We now
from the
control
stair,
objective Alpha.
something very bizarre. Charlie's Facebook page started posting updates, and they didn't appear to be from Charlie. Someone created life events on Facebook, saying that Charlie and Kayla were expecting a daughter, and another one saying that they had bought a house, and yet another saying that they were getting married. And then Charlie's Facebook started posting updates. One of them said, "Sometimes late at night I dig a hole in my backyard and dig a game against full room." And another said, "It's never going to end. They are not thinking about their faces." As terrifying as the results were, it helped the case get moving in New York, and pretty soon those stories went viral. But how
Be advised, objective Bravo has been lost.
a big metal sheet underneath the truck side burning. She had chains around her feet and she was alive.
Enemy
These
machine
checks
gun
were
spotted just west of where you are.
This is Hartford and Kingston, Denver. Kayla and the police said they were at the property when they heard someone banging inside the building. They opened it and found Kayla and her Charlie. Kayla told police that she had witnessed Todd shoot and kill Charlie, and sure enough, they later found his body in the car.
I have eyes on enemy
but
soldiers in West position. Just infantry.
two other bodies were discovered in the property, and they would later be identified as 26-year-old Megan Rob Thompson and her husband, Raymond Joe Thompson. The couple was from Spartanburg. They had been missing since December 22nd, 2015. Todd also confessed to two There is much more to the story, and I'm obviously just giving a little recap here. But as it turns out, Todd is a very, very dangerous man. And who knows? Oh.
Okay, there's an enemy soldier in the south.
But I hope this episode gives you a little bit more insight into different cases that I've found. Some of them make it to the podcast, while others do not. And now I want to know more about specific cases. We discussed the cases that the court documents were like you would do it. So that a court document actually right from there. To support this podcast, visit
Just notice where you're at. Hostile vehicle.
continue to my Patreon page. You can donate as little as $1 a month to support it. My Patreon supporters enjoy early access to my Court Junkie reads, as well as ad-free versions of my regular episodes. A special thank you to Lifeway Keeper for sponsoring this podcast. To contact me, you can reach me on Twitter at CourtJunkiePod. You can email me at podcast@courtjunkie.com, or you can join our Facebook group and talk to not only me, but our wonderfully awesome community of Court Junkies. Thanks for listening. Until next time.